Bats are rarely seen by many people, and when they do see a bat, it is usually in rapid flight and in poor light conditions. Bats are remarkable animals and are the only species of mammal capable of controlled flight. 18 species of bats are found in Britain, with 17 breeding here. The two families of bats that are found in Britain are horseshoe bats and Vesper bats. All British bats are nocturnal, feeding mainly on insects, which they catch using echolocation. This involves with the emission of a series of ultrasonic squeaks, about 12 to 15 per second, mostly out of range of human hearing. These ultrasonic sounds bounce back as echoes, allowing the bat to determine where its prey or other objects are. Each species emits a distinctive echolocation call that can be identified using a bat detector. And a close inspection, like in this picture, is how British bats can be identified to species level. However, some are difficult to identify. If the bat has a complicated nose leaf, it must be one of the horseshoe bats, and size can separate greater from lesser horseshoe bat. Larger than the greater horseshoe bat is the greater mouse-eared bat that can be identified on size alone, although there is sadly only one known individual of this species left in Britain. 3 species of British bats have ears that join together above their heads. These are the 2 long-eared bats and the Barber stele. Certain species, Pipistrelle, common noctule, lesser noctule, Serratin, and the Barber stele have a post-calcaneal lobe, which is a lobe of skin found behind the calca as shown here on this picture. Myotis bats do not show this feature, although there are 3 smaller species of Myotis bats. Whiskered Brants and Alcatho are said to have a hint of a post-calcaneal lobe. Measuring the forearm length is a good way to gauge the size of a bat. The shape and length of the tragus, a fleshy projection at the entrance of the ear, is often diagnostic and extremely helpful in identifying a bat. All British bats, especially when at roost, should only be approached with a licensed individual, as there are laws preventing the disturbance of bats and their roost sites. Bat groups and individuals across the country are taking part in the National Bat Monitoring Programme. Monitoring bats can establish which bats are found where and the size of each population. More importantly, it can help to identify if a species needs urgent help. Joining the local bat group and taking part in these surveys can make a huge difference, and it can also reward you with some exceptional views of bats. Bats are most easily seen during the warmer months of the year. The main mating season is usually from late August to early October, depending on the prevailing weather. During this time into late October, our bats beginning to build up fat reserves and search for hibernation sites, known as hibernaculum. However, barber steles can sometimes be seen in milder periods of winter. As November draws in, short periods of torpor extend into hibernation as the days grow colder and shorter. By December, bats will be hibernating in cool, undisturbed places such as caves, tree holes, cellars, and disused buildings. Please note that if you find an injured bat or a bat on the ground during daytime, it will require help. There are many groups and individuals who spend a great deal of their time looking after and rehabilitating bats. For help, please telephone the Bat Conservation Trust on 0345 1300 228 for advice and information on your nearest bat carer.